to see you all, folks. Mr. Chairman, we must apologise before we start. The Chairman could not make it tonight. His wife was determined to keep him home. He's been out very frequently this week, and she insisted that this night of all nights he stay home. So, apologies to Mr. Chairman. Mr. Director, Mr. Secretary of the Board, Mr. Director of Zoos, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to you all to this 5th celebration of the Golden Nugget Award. To those among you who have yet to be initiated into the enigmatic world of the zoo employee, we ask you to bear with us. From amphibia to reptilia, we care for them all. And yet tonight, apart from the possible inclusion of certain residential animals, is not a night when we salute the inmates. Tonight is a night... Shadow. It's not a night when we salute the inmates of the environment. Tonight we salute the Melbourne Zoo employee. That indomitable biped that walks this flower of paradise with a grandised sense of purpose. Their stuff-ups are all sorry. To the zoo employee, of the zoo employees considered for appraisal within the scope of the 4 awards tonight, 2 awards are directed predominantly towards... Thank you, Jim. It's all this what? I can't see. 2 awards are directed predominantly towards the Animal Husbandry Division. These awards are the Sneade Award, an award presented more through embarrassment than pride, as the recipients usually earn their acknowledgements through ineptitude as apart from efficiency. The Golden Nugget Award. This award is the highlight not only of the evening's awards, but of the Keepers' Year. Good. Every keeping division within the zoo strives for this award. True recognition of outstanding achievement within the field of animal husbandry, our evening will culminate with this award. 2 other awards will be presented this evening. Both exist as an open award. That is, any employee of the Royal Melbourne Zoo may be the recipient of these awards. The Hall of Fame Award well may appear to be an extension of the Sneade Award, and in fact it is. For it is the firm belief of the Academy that which the Animal Husbandry Division must suffer will not in any way be spared to any other division within the zoo. The Honours List is a new award, one which may not necessarily become an annual event. For this award is especially created to acknowledge outstanding achievements throughout the entire year, the entire zoo. Achievements of such standing that preceding years may not produce. May we now begin to present our first award, the Sneade Award. And who else to present this award than a man who has probably never received one, or its facsimile, in his entire life. That very eminent zoologist and Lord of the Frogs, Dr. Angus Marsden.
Thank you kindly, Marius. Could I add my own welcome to you all? And briefly explain that the honour that has been done to me in asking me to read the nominations for the Sneade Award is in recognition of my total incompetence at everything. I'm an expert in incompetence. Some of you may have noticed that I arrived late tonight and nearly gave Marius a heart attack. The reason for that is that on setting out to come here, the door of my car fell off in my hand. Now, I'd often thought that the ultimate in the emotion of rage and frustration is when you're dunking a biscuit in your cup of tea and the biscuit breaks and nearly all of it falls into the cup of tea. I've learned tonight that the feeling when you open your car door and it comes up in your hand exceeds that emotion by quite some measure. So I do feel particularly fitted to dealing with the Sneade Award tonight. A glance at your program will show you, to Do we have a program? Oh yes, we do have a program. We'll show you that the Sneade Award is made for absolute excellence in ineptitude. It's the absolute arsehole of the year award. And it is, as Murray has said, restricted to members of the Animal Husbandry Division, and they are particularly suitable people to achieve such an award. Without further ado, I think we should read the nominations for the Sneade Award, and the first nomination is none other than Mr. Ron Herbert. Now, Ron has received his nomination for his innovative approach to the problem of bird nutrition. Quite some time ago, Ron, then young and naive, now he's old and naive, was a member of the bird department at the beginning of his illustrious career within this place. And one of his responsibilities was to look after a small group of chestnut-breasted finches. Ron, being very astute, noticed after a day or two that the birds weren't eating the seed which was his job to provide for them. So the next day he didn't provide them with any seed. As the days passed, the birds continued to not eat the seed, which Ron continued to not provide. And so we had this group of chestnut-breasted finches surviving on a remarkable diet of nothing. Until one day, the curator of birds couldn't help noticing that all the finches had died. Being a kind and thoughtful person as he is, he took Ron under his wing. That's a bird department joke, shall I repeat that? Took Ron under his wing.
Told him he was plucked.
That's plucked with an F. What he tenderly explained to Ron was that what Ron thought was a bowl full of seed was in fact a bowl full of empty seed husks. And the skillful Mr. Herbert had succeeded in actually starving these unfortunate creatures to death. And so I think if I've got my lines right, we now move along to the next nomination. Whom you may be able to recognise as Mr. Carl Schmidt. And this nomination is in recognition of an evening when Carl gormandised himself on an amazing concoction, including, among other things, chicken, pork, chilies, chutney, all kinds of strange and exotic fermented fruits and other assorted gastronomic atrocities, having contended with which he retired for the night to rest safely in the arms of Morpheus. Unbeknownst to Carl, during this period of unconsciousness, the brew which he had ingested began to ferment and to percolate through his system and to reach a diabolical level of maturity within what we laughingly refer to as his torso. And lo and behold, the next morning, as he intrepidly ventured off to commence his daily duties, the contents of his rumen reached a sort of critical mass, and he was up near the top 6 at the time. He suddenly came to a halt and burst into laughter in a particularly technicolor way. And the results of this mirthful explosion ended up all over the concrete path, to the concern of the patient Norman Dowsett, who simply sighed, reached for the hose, and said, "Cleaning primate messes off concrete, it's all I ever do." Carl Schmidt, therefore, a worthy nomination for the Sneade Award. And there you see before you the recipient of the next nomination, the talented Miss Leanne de Lacy. Leanne is nominated for her innovative approach to the problem of animal euthanasia. Not satisfied with the tried and true so-called gas and gone method, she developed upon an unfortunate hairless possum a new technique, which is now known as the club sandwich, in which you place the possum between 2 bricks with a sort of muffled crunching sound. If you think that's bad, you should see how... I'm getting behind here. This is obviously the next nomination. This is the zoo's PR lady. And I know you're all saying it's not Wendy Griner. I know it's not Wendy Griner. PR stands for photoreceptive. Because, as it turns out, Carol Butler is the zoo's most photographed inmate. I've heard a rumour, in fact, that Andrew Peacock is going to put Carol on his payroll for consultations on how to get your picture in the paper. Well done, Carol. Here is the 5th nomination, none other than Mr. Norman Dowsett. And the nomination comes about because one morning during last winter, the inimitable Norman headed off from the ape house with an ample supply of excellent victuals with which he intended to feed the denizens of Gibbon Island. Upon arriving there, he proceeded to ferry the food via the feeding pole to the white-handed gibbons. One of the gibbons is a bit of a malcontent, very unusual in the zoo, who goes by the name of Yancey. While Norman was standing on the shoreline, he skillfully and delicately manoeuvred the feeding pole over the feeding platform, at which point Yancey, equally delicately, equally skillfully, decided he'd had enough of living on the island and swung across the pole to the astonished Norman. And picture it, there were Norman and Yancey face to face. Now, as you know, even though Norman is not here tonight, we all know that Norman has this way with animals. In no time at all, he had Yancey eating out of his leg. point, Mr. Darcy succeeded in securing the primate in a vice-like grip, waded back through the murky lake water and gently deposited the furious creature in his own domain. And Norman then passed a gentle and reflective and peaceful day thinking about ways of getting lake mud out of your gumboots. Norman Dowson. And the next nomination, Mary Rose Flaherty. This nomination falls into the category of the most unusual accident within the zoo. Some of you may remember that last year, Juna received a special commendation in this category for falling into the Gibbon Lake twice on the one day. This year, unanimously, the nomination is Mary Rose, who, while going dutifully about her rounds, feeding the koalas, fell off her horse. And there are some who say that horses aren't the only thing that Rose is expert at taking for a ride. The next nomination, at any rate, according to the Steel Shop calendar, is Miss September, who may be better known to you as Cheryl Wellington. And we recognise her tonight for her imaginative attempts to develop free-ranging primate areas within and beyond Royal Park. We remember first the pigtail macaque escape, which resulted in a considerable flood of golden nuggets, nice fresh ones. We remember the great ringtail lemur breakout of '83. And so the category into which this nomination falls, of course, is the Charlie Cervoni impression category. And to round off a very thorough performance, one remembers Frank the Carpenter staring in disbelief while working inside the mantle exhibit. Cheryl, with due care and purpose, opened the wrong door. Frank, faced with the prospect of a bit of man drilling, got close to producing a few golden nuggets of his own. What a body. You may not recognise there the gentleman on my left, Mr. Marius Yarni, who receives his nomination for his services to education, particularly in the area of vocabulary development and Marius, of course, is never one to shirk his duty, and he became involved, along with several other zoo staff, in attempts to rescue an injured capybara from the taper moat. And as this band of intrepid people rushed back and forth, panicking and screaming and carrying on, which one's the act? They became a considerable focus of attention within the zoo, and a large crowd of teachers and school children gathered about to watch this interesting phenomenon. Suddenly, with an almighty yell, Marius plunged his net into the moat and caught the capybara with one swoop. Excitement among the gathered crowds reached fever pitch as he dragged the animal from the water, stepped back triumphantly, straight into the electric fence. There are some who say that there is a direct nervous connection between Marius's legs and his tongue, which is partly why he is so adept at putting his foot in his mouth. In this particular case, the immediate response by Marius's tongue was to let loose some of the most astonishing language ever heard from the mouth of a human being, using the term in a fairly loose sense. And this led to the spectacle of the school children crowding up closer, thinking that they'd learn a few choice Greek expressions, and the school teachers frantically trying to shepherd them away for fear that they might learn a few even choicer English expressions. And so the nomination of Marius. And now we come to the final nomination for this year's Sneade Award, and as I think that is Helen Matter.
Oh.
Helen Matter is nominated for her veterinary skills, particularly in bravely tackling the potentially serious problem of acne in reptiles. Helen, as you may know, has this kind of deep hatred for pimples and is well known for her hawk-like descent upon them, thumb and forefinger ready. Helen has boldly squeezed pimples where no man has squeezed before. On this particular occasion, not on that particular occasion, an unfortunate bearded dragon came into the clutches of Bobuck, and as we herpetologists know, but I might have to explain to the rest of you, bearded dragons, like many other dragons in the male, have a series of structures called femoral paws along the hind legs, and these, to the inexperienced eye, look remarkably like pimples. Helen therefore swooped upon this somewhat disconsolate reptile and gave it the thumb and forefinger treatment for some considerable time before both she and the reptile realised that there was no future in this mission. And so she left one rather bemused bearded dragon pondering upon the ways of zookeepers. Those are the nominations. And the next step, of course, is to present the award. Now, we cannot possibly present the Sneade Award ourselves. There is only one person whom we must call upon to do it, because he, after all, is the initiator of the sort of evening's entertainment you're having tonight. And I'm referring, of course, to Dieter Yuko. Dieter, unfortunately, is in Perth now, as you all know. He's shipped out. But this is the part I'm nervous about, because this is actually turned out to be very difficult, but we think we've managed to arrange a transmission on the OTC satellite, courtesy of Channel 9. And if indeed our satellite line is established, we should be able to get in touch with Dieter in Perth, where he is waiting with the sealed envelope containing the award. So, I can't hear anything. Hang on. Dieter, can you hear me? No. Dieter! Dieter!
Still daylight over in Perth. 2
hours before. I don't know if he can hear us or if we can hear him.
Yeah, he said hello to you. I'm sure I heard him.
Dieter, can you hear me? Hello! It's nice to see you. G'day! think his lips moved, but I don't know what he said.
It's this new technology, Angus. It's a bit crook, mate.
It's, yes, the only bit that we don't have under our control is the shareables, you see. Well, we don't know where we are, Dita. Things are total confusion here, but listen, what we want you to do is to announce the winner of the...
Thanks, Angus. Well, you've all heard the nominations for the 1983 Sneade Award. So, and the winner of the 1983 Sneade Award is...
Look, I think we... I'm sorry about this, I think we have lost him. Marius, have you got... What are we going to... Have you got something else we can...
We'll put it back up.
Yeah, look, we've got... Have you got another... Either get somebody else or wave your magic wand or do something. Because, this is very embarrassing. I don't think I'll do this again.
I miss you all like hell. Well, the winner of the 1983 Sneade Award is... You going to make a guess? The winner is Miss Mary Rose Flaherty. Where is she? I travelled 3,000 miles for this, Rose. Where's the award? You got it.
Hey, Rose. Just bear with us for a second, people. The award had to be doctored for a minute or two.
Rose, on behalf of the Royal Melbourne Zoo, I present you with the 1983 Sneade Award. Wear it with grace.
Well, thank you very much, everyone.